Welcome to the Tuesday, September 24th, 2024 board meeting for the Mason City Schools Board of Education. The board's been in a work session and is ready to convene to regular session. So if you join me in the next item on our agenda, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the next item on our agenda is the superintendent's presentation. Jonathan?
All right, thank you so much. Well, we have an exciting evening for our guests tonight. We have the first thing we have each month, we have something called a wayfinding video, and Tracy and her team work really hard to identify, along with our staff, places that we can dive deep and to give our community just a little insight to something that's happening in the district to help people find their way and make meaning out of this wonderful place that we call Mason City Schools. So tonight we're going to hear about the Dream Center. Tracy, take it away.
Sure. Mason City Schools Dream Centers are transforming how students learn, connect, and discover purpose and potential. Located at Mason High School, Mason Intermediate School, Mason Elementary School, and Mason Early Childhood Center, these centers are becoming vital wayfinding spaces where learners can explore their passions, build connections, and chart their path. Comets are finding their way in every corner of the Dream Centers, unlocking creativity, building connections, and developing the confidence to follow their dreams. Let's take a look at what members of our community saw at the official ribbon-cutting ceremonies that were held last week.
This is all a result of the voices around you, students, staff, educational partners, people that were here before that started the momentum to come into this space. And you know what's great about this space? I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but it's debt-free. There's one thing to come up with big ideas, but to be debt-free while paying for it, not only that our taxpayers, that's a huge deal. So thank you for everybody doing that to make that happen.
This is basically a dream for me. Like even standing and just sitting in that chair and reading a book is already like a dream for me sitting here. Like I look up from the book and I see all of this place. It's so different from last year and it made my heart like happy.
To see so many different people from so many different aspects of the community in one space, just communicating really shows what this space is made for. It's made for collaboration, for events, for dreams, and truly what I saw in there is what dreams are made of. A bunch of people putting their best foot forward to make an event for the students. And as a senior, I'm disappointed that I won't be here long enough to really see everything that the Dream Center has to offer, but I'm so excited for my younger brother to see all of this and experience it. It's truly something that's going to live on for many years to come.
And at SLP, we preach a lot about stepping outside the classroom and truly getting an in-depth experience of what our career can be. The transformation of the Dream Center has truly allowed people at XLP to fulfill that goal as well. Instead of being crammed into a classroom, now we have the ability to roam across B1, meeting with students, teachers, and even administration, something which I would never have considered walking into high school profession. So the Dream Center, as you've heard several times, truly is a dream come true.
The lessons I learned at Mason really pushed me to go through and do that. I didn't realize really how good we had it as a community and all over this school until I went to college and I got to see and talk to my peers who didn't really have, the opportunity to go start an e-commerce site for their like school store, or they weren't talking about credit card processing. or their school treasurer and the risks associated with that while they're in high school. This place has given me and so many others so many opportunities, and that's all come from people who wanted to kind of push the school further. It's fun to see not only the persistence, but the resilience of that be kind of fulfilled by the space around space.
This is not just a place where your kids can come out and have conviction. It's a place where we're actually going to create people experiences that are going to impact us for years and years to come. The experiences, soft skills, and hard skills that we're learning now are game changers. Think about how many high schoolers have the opportunity to become general managers at the age of 17. Insane work, yeah? We've got marketing teams, we've got an operations team, we've got finance team. How many kids know how to open a PO at this age? How many of your kids know what a PO is? The work that we're doing here is mind-blowing. So whether you're a barista here at the Cosmic Cafe just learning how to make drinks and work with customer service skills, or if you are a management team member who's learning how to present big groups like this one, there is a place for your students. 3, 2, 1.
Tracy, thank you so much. What another great video. We appreciate you highlighting another wayfinding moment for us. If you have not had a chance to see our Dream Centers in person, we do reach out to us. We'd love to give you a tour. If you're a community member that's interested, let us know. We'd be happy to bring you in and show you what the Dream Centers are all about and talk about it and let our kids share with you. Maybe you can even get a special drink at the Cosmic Cafe, which we'll hear a little bit more about here in just a moment. All right, our next presentation, I'm going to move over to the podium for just a second for this presentation, and then, so give me 1 second. I have to say, as a former elementary teacher and principal, someone who loves literature, to see this in the middle of our room, to have a book display, I think that's something we could probably do each and every time. Maybe we'll just add that to our want list someday. But it is beautiful to have this in the front. So thank you so much. We'll hear about those in a minute. But first, we have a special moment. So we talk a lot about Mason moments, and we talk a lot about milestones in our district and how those milestones mean something to us and what it means to the legacy of our district. And so tonight, we have the great privilege of honoring Connie Yingling as a board member who has served for 25 years here at Mason City Schools. And right now, currently, out of the state of Ohio, because we received an email with some data points in this, but there are 3,400 active members serving across the state of Ohio, and Connie is one of 33 that have served for 25 years faithfully to one district. So Connie, you're in the 1%, and since 1999, you have made a significant impact here at Mason City Schools. You have seen this district grow to the next level. You've seen our high school triple in size. You've been a part of decisions that have set us on a trajectory for the success that we're experiencing. And as we saw tonight, the Dream Center come to fruition. You were one of the people that said having one high school will give us more opportunities for our students, and you were a part of those conversations. And even before 1999, serving on our school board, you were faithfully serving as a mom in our district and coming in and being a part of PTOs and a part of sports and everything else that you did. So your legacy started even before that time. And so setting us up on a pathway of excellence, Connie, I can say on behalf of everybody in this room just how grateful we are for your service of 25 years here at Mason City Schools. Your thoughtful stewardship, your steady hand through a lot of things, and we have been through the toughest times in our history together, and we've all got to see you just be a faithful leader in caring for our kids and always putting our students and our staff first. And you've been a person that has built trust in our community, and so we are just so grateful for your service and your leadership. So please join me in thanking Connie Yingling. Connie, I'm going to make you feel awkward for a minute. After the board gets a second to make a couple comments, we have a certificate, and we're going to probably ask our executive team to come down, and I'll get someone to take our picture with you, but I'll let them go ahead and take the mic.
Well, Connie, if there were more people here tonight, I think we would maybe take advantage of the opportunity for a roast of some kind. But given I don't want to waste our material on the on the crowd here, but I do want to acknowledge that it's kind of funny and fitting that about 7 years ago, this trio that you see up here was all running for election in the 2017 board election, and I remember the first time I met you, you reached out and invited me to kind of get to know what it was like to be a board member, even though we were on the ballot against one another. You recognized the value in sort of extending that hand and onboarding me before I was even elected, and answering questions that I have. I think we spent about 2 hours at a Panera Bread for our first conversation. And I think that the 25 years that you have served this district, it's a standard that anybody seeking to serve public office, let alone on a school board, should aspire to. It sets the mark. It sets the benchmark for elected officials. And you're somebody who has always taken a long view in terms of the work that you do as an elected official and a public servant. And you are a board member that I think, above all else, has the best interest of the entire community and the public at the very core of all the decisions that you make. You're always considering, how will this impact taxpayers? How will this impact everybody that has a say and a stake in our district, not just the people that walk these buildings today or that, may never walk these buildings, but you have that holistic view, and you take those people to heart every time. And I think it's something that is appreciated by our community, and it's reflected in the amount of times that you've not only been reelected, but reelected with more votes than just about anybody that happens to be on the ballot with you. So congratulations. This is a truly outstanding accomplishment.
Connie, congratulations on the 25 years. It's a testament to just how much you value this district and serving this district, that this sometimes isn't the easiest job, and it's not something that you're in for the accolades or the recognition for sure. But you've stuck through a lot of things that have happened in this district, and we just thank you for being a part of our journey. And just personally, I want to say that thank you for the perspective that you bring to bear. This Charles spoke to, you play the long game. I think that we all try to do that. We have a long view of where we want this district to be, and how we want it to outlive all of us. But I so appreciate your ability to call back to big decisions like Jonathan mentioned about having one high school and how we got there, why we made this decision and that, because we're not always looking backwards. We're trying to move forwards, but it's so important to understand your roots and how we got where we are to be able to help us on that trajectory forward. So we just thank you for being a part of that and sharing that experience and bringing that to bear on all of our decisions. So congratulations.
So Connie, it's often a thankless job, but we all thank you for your service. And do you have anything you'd like to share before we do our picture?
I really do. This is a bit of a surprise. No one told me this was on the agenda tonight. I do appreciate very, very much the time that you're willing to take, and just everybody likes to be appreciated for the work that they've put in. But the one message I hope that the community would get from me above all others is, when you live in a community, you need to be proud of that community. You need to support that community. And not everyone can serve in exactly the same ways, but whatever you can do to support your community, to support your kids, your neighbors' kids, make it a great place to live and work. I think that is so important. And sometimes people have asked me through the years, why are you still doing this? And I said, because I still see the value in the work that needs to be done. And the pleasure has been all mine. I have enjoyed, this has been a big piece of my life. I'm grateful to have been able to spend this much time here and to work with all of the varied board members that I have. I appreciate all the board members. We have always, as a board, worked together. We've brought individual ideas. We come together as 5 to support all of this out here, because that's what the job is. And we disagree on some things, and then we come back and work together just as tightly as ever on something else. The pleasure's been all mine. I hope that I was able to deliver some good through the years. It's been a remarkable experience. Thank you very much.
Well, you definitely have. Thank you. All right, I'm going to ask our board and executive team if we could just form up around Connie, and we'll give her a certificate, and then if I could recruit someone to take a picture, that would be awesome. Christine, you want to come over on this side of the Got it? Perfect. Thank you so much. Connie, I'm not the treasurer, and so numbers, I do my best, but I think something around 20,000 students, we think, maybe you've had your decisions have an impact on 20,000 students plus and generations. So, yeah, so thank you. All right, well, as the celebrations continue, we're going to move to learn a little bit. So we're going to go from celebration to learning and the celebration of learning. So I'm going to turn it over to a group of people that have just done the most amazing job of opening and shepherding along the way the Dream Centers. And so you're going to meet a team tonight of just amazing educators and leaders who I'm just so grateful for. So we'll turn it over to Dr. Jordan.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm incredibly honored to be here. My name is Robin Jordan, and I am the Learner and Family Engagement Administrator for the district. And I do get to support this exciting Dream Center work for our students, staff, and families. And we're going to tell you about the Dream Centers across the district and how they're supporting the growth and development of our students. And this is really important work that has taken 10 years in the making of thoughtful and strategic planning. And we could not have done this alone, and it has truly been a dream team effort. And we want to first start by thanking you all, our board members, for your dedication to this work. You know, thank you for your forward thinking, for your care, for our kids, for our staff, for your fiscal stewardship. And it was mentioned in the video as well. You heard Dr. Cooper talking about we built all of these facilities debt-free, which is hugely important. So thank you for that. Our Dream Centers are spaces that are helping our kids' dreams become a reality. They're hubs of learning, literacy, and creativity. They're spaces where they can become entrepreneurs. They're spaces where they can leverage our portrait skills, where they can use them to compete in an ever-changing global market. Last year, we came together as a community to collaborate around our vision and our journey to 2030, which is what you're looking at on the slide right now. And tonight, we want to focus on our priority around meaningful experiences. Specifically, when you look at inspire, empower, and make a difference. And so we want to talk about our OKR launch and align Dream Center resources and experiences in each school in order to create spaces where comments are inspired and empowered to make a difference. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So in the video, what you heard about was the launch portion in that wayfinding video. So I'm going to bring up now our amazing Dream Center coordinator, Aaron Roberts. And now he's going to talk and share a little bit more about what we're doing across the district to align that alignment portion of the OKR. and how we're going to help our Comets dream big and take action. And that's what you're going to see on the table. And we're also going to bring up Mr. Dan Little as well. And we're going to get you all involved.
Great.
We're going to get you up and have you take some action tonight. We've got the dream team.
Thank you, Robin, and thank you, board, for your time tonight. Like Robin said, I'm Aaron Roberts. I'm the Dream Center coordinator for the district, and I'm here tonight to bring a little bit of the Dream Center to you, some of that experience. And we're going to start off with the Cosmic Cafe, which is a great story of an entrepreneurial, real-world experience. They're open every day right here at Mason High School in the Dream Center. The team at the Cosmic Cafe has created special drinks for you here tonight, and I'm going to bring up Pratiti and Emery to tell you what they have.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Emery. I am class of 2026 here, and I am the marketing manager here at Cosmic Cafe. I'm also a barista supervisor, so I do a little bit of all that work. The drinks that are being handed to you right now are called Dream Teas. It's a strawberry green tea, and you're going to notice there's a little bit of a glitter or a glimmer in there. The work I do at Cosmic Cafe is so important, and I don't think there's quite anything like it. I know what I don't like, first of all. I know what maybe my boundaries are with work, life, heck, school, work, and life. That's a whole combination to talk about, right? I mean, this internship experience is really going to prepare me. It's like having a UC co-op, but I'm in high school. And I've been already offered job opportunities and so many other things. And now I know, like, campaign management, that's what I want to do with my future. And a lot of our baristas, marketers, operations team members, and finance team members, they know what they want to do with their futures now. They know and have these life skills that are going to bring them on for decades and decades to come. What you have in front of you, you may notice there's something little special about them. It's because they have that little glimmer in them, right? There's that glitter. The Dream Tea has some glitter in it to represent the glimmer of hope that the Dream Centers bring, and also like the sparks of ideas that are being and created alive here in the Dream Centers. And I'd like to, again, say thank you for your guys' consistent support, and students like me and our ability to open the decades in coming Cosmic Cafe. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so glad. I saw these being circulated at the ribbon cutting the other night, and I just didn't get a chance to get over. The line was too long to get in. They were so popular. So.
They're pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're really good. They're unique and but great.
So as Robin mentioned, that the Dream Center serves as a hub for learning, literacy, and creativity, as we heard from our Dream Center Cosmic Cafe representatives here tonight. From the outset, our youngest students begin developing future-ready and entrepreneurial skills and creative skills. On the screen right now are examples of the types of experiences that kids have in STEAM specials in the elementaries. So every year they have a STEAM special, and they have their rotation through that, and those are housed now in the Dream Centers. So they're taking STEAM classes in their Dream Centers. So they represent core competencies that we believe that will empower our students to thrive in our increasingly complex and dynamic world. So on the slide, you see things like graphic design, video design, 3D modeling. We're engaging our youngest learners with these skills. And they go on into the 7 through 12 world, and they have a lot of rich experiences that they can choose from. We have some of the best elective offerings that I know of anywhere. So they continue to cultivate and expand upon these foundational skills through an array of self-selected electives. These courses are examples of that are displayed on the screen, where they can offer students the opportunity to delve deeper into areas of personal interest. This personalized approach to learning allows students to not only refine their existing knowledge and abilities, but also acquire new skills. But it doesn't stop in those electives. Our Dream Centers now help us bring this all together. I can give you one example of a conversation with a social studies teacher, which I'm really excited to actually have her here tonight. I was talking to Miss Miller recently in the high school Dream Center, and she has this great project, a Design the Ideal Presidential Candidate project. Maybe some of you have sat in on seeing that project in action. So we were just she's talking about this project. She's like, well, what can my kids do down here? What if I don't know how to do all this video editing? And what if these kids can't do, or I don't know if these kids can do 3D printing, that sort of thing. And I was able to explain to her that the kids come to the High School Dream Center with a great deal of skills already because of the experiences that you've seen on the slides before. And we can just walk them through the space, and they're going to come up with lots of ideas where maybe they have things that they didn't have access to before. They can now apply all those things to a social studies class as well. So to wrap up our time together, we thought we would bring some of the fun of the Dream Center experience to you. You've already had your Dream Tea. Now you've also may have noticed a number of books in front of you. Each of our Dream Centers feature a great library space, and these are in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, which goes through October 15th. But we've also brought you a hands-on creation experience. We're actually going to ask for you to come to the center table and do a little bit of creation. So Dan and Robin are bringing you to the button makers. The button makers are actually a number of skills together. There's digital creation skills because you've created the graphic that actually goes on the button. You also have some hands-on creation skills because you're going to use that wonderful heavy piece of steel equipment here today to make a long-lasting button. So Dan and Robin, if you can't see, are walking them through the creation of the button. We've preloaded a button into the button maker, and they're showing them how to swing the buttons around and put on the front, put on the back. And then once you have it, why don't you hold that up and make sure that the cameras can see what you've created here tonight. Excellent work, excellent work. So congratulations, you have actually created the first green and white gratitude pins in our district. We challenge you this week to actually take these pins and hand them off to somebody as an expression of gratitude. Anybody that you might see in the community or in your visits to the school, we challenge you to give them this gratitude pin. Tell them the story of the Dream Center, and then ask them to also hand off the pin to somebody else. Robin right now is handing off a pin of gratitude that we've made for you to show you gratitude, as well as a number of 3D printed items, including our logo, a little fidget spinner thing, and the gratitude pin that you can take with you today. So we thank you for your continued support and your leadership and your time here tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dream Team. Thank you so much for your investment in this, your purposeful planning, the intentionality of bringing some of the Dream Center spirit right here in front of us in the boardroom. I don't know if our board, do you have any questions that you have for any of our Dream Team members that just as they're opening these Dream Centers up? I'll turn it over to you.
Well, I'd like to say I was completely impressed with the Dream Spaces. Beautiful job, better than I expected. And I'm not an educator by training, by profession, so I wasn't sure how those spaces would be used, but what I'm really impressed with and what I can very easily see is not only are you utilizing the spaces in productive ways, which I would have not been able to come up with myself, but your feet are on the ground and you're already running. We just cut the ribbon and they're being utilized, and you can see the productivity and the ideas and the fun of learning coming out of it. That's what I'm most impressed with. Thank you for your commitment to this project.
I maybe not have a question because I asked, I think, a lot last week. But one thing I just want to say that what I'm most excited about with these dream centers is that, Aaron, you didn't get up there and tell us all the ways we're going to use these dream centers and everything that's going to happen in them. And why is that? Because we don't know what's going to happen in them, right? We don't know where this is going to take us. And Emery, and I'm sorry, what's your name? Pratiki. And all your fellow students who are working in the Cosmic Cafe, but also are going to be in this space and learn in this space and grow in this space, you're going to be the ones who show us how this is going to be used and where it's going to lead us. So I'll just say that's what excites me the most, is that we don't even know yet. We probably can't even dream ourselves what these centers are going to do for students into the future. So that makes me very excited and very proud to have been a part of this journey. So thank you for sharing tonight, guys.
So I'm gonna, I guess, tell a personal story. I don't remember when the first time was that I became aware of like a desktop 3D printer. I just did a quick Google, and according to Google, there's a little history that in around 2008, the expiration of key fused deposition modeling patents made desktop 3D printers more affordable and more accessible, which sounds about right to me because I do not remember, seeing 3D printers anywhere throughout high school, even throughout college. It was a phenomenon that came on, as far as I knew, like in the 2010s. And the first person I really knew who got into them as, like a passion or hobby is my father-in-law, who has used a desktop 3D printer for the last several years to make his own fishing bobs and lures and stuff. So every time I go visit him, he's got, little fishing bobs that he says, would cost him, probably hundreds of dollars if he were to buy the same kinds in a store. And it is just so cool to think about how our youngest students, from their earliest exposure to the Dream Center at MECC through the elementary and intermediate and middle school and high school, are going to be building upon foundational skills that, you put me in front of a 3D printer and walk away, you're going to come back and it's going to be broken in half and smoking. But my 8-year-old could probably make something on it right now. And that's just a really cool thing to sit back and appreciate about the exposure and the opportunity and the resources that we are able to provide all of our kids in the district. And I'm just so excited. One small example of the kind of future thinking skills and core competencies that we are nurturing here, and excited for what that's going to look like down the road. So thank you all very much for the work you've done to plan and prepare for this moment, for the ribbon cutting this past week. And we're excited to see how you all steward these resources, and for our students, how you maximize and optimize these opportunities. It's a really fun thing to see as a board.
Well, thank you all again. We really appreciate your time in Cosmic Cafe. If you haven't been to the Cosmic Cafe, we encourage you to stop by there. Best drinks in town. We have a lot of great coffee shops, but I think they are right now number one, I think, right? Is that, yeah, that's number one in our book. We love them to death. And cheers to Cosmic Cafe. You've heard it here first, right there. I do want to just say to our team members who have led the way, this, I believe, and I think all of us do, this is a really important time in our history. Connie has seen 25 years in her service. This is a moment that we will all remember. This was a catalyst moment that's moving us forward into some new pathways that we just have been talking a lot about for many years and planning for, and now I think it's going to be a catalyst and inspiration to everyone. So thank you for your work. Appreciate you.
All right. With that, I think, is that our final superintendent's presentation, Jonathan?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, with that, this is normally a time in our meeting when we take a pause and allow folks who are here for solely the presentations to move on with their evening. You are more than welcome to stick around if you'd like, but we understand that you might have more pressing commitments on the evening, so feel free to exit stage left, and thank you if you for coming tonight.
No question.
We'll print a holder.
But you caught them. Of course you do.
See you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
I'm watching this
Good
on
night.
TV.
All right, the next item on our agenda is the hearing of the public. Tracy, do we have anybody tonight?
Nothing tonight.
All right. Then moving along, item number 7 on our agenda is resolutions. Do I have a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Any discussion?
Connie, it's me and you tonight.
I'm sorry?
I said it's me and you tonight on the.
Yeah, no. We have to work hard tonight.
So the resolution we have on the agenda tonight is for our fiscal year 2025 appropriations. This is part of our compliance with the high budgetary laws, kind of sets our spending cap for the year. We will approve this and then submit it to the county auditor's office, again, as part of our budgetary processes. So each year, that's something we do in September and submit by the end of the month.
All right, thank you, Sean. Any other discussion? Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
3-0.
Item number 8, superintendent's recommendations, personnel items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Yeah, I'll walk through and highlight a few items in here. This is a very large list of items that we're asking you to approve tonight, and there's some reasons for that. So let me highlight a few things on here. First of all, the long list of subs that we continue to improve or to approve to add to our ranks is always encouraging. I know Tanya mentioned to our team that I think we're up to close to 350 active substitute teachers in our district at this point in time. I don't know if that's a new high, but it's pretty up there, and we're really appreciative to everyone that has signed up to be a substitute teacher at Mason City Schools. It is a great opportunity, so please consider that if you have not already. That's in section H. In section I, right after that section, you'll see in this section that each of our certified teachers are approved by the state to go through it's a science of reading training. And so every certified member of our staff will be listed here to be approved to go through this training. This is a required training the state has given to us for the science of reading. You'll see two different amounts on here. You'll see a $1,200 amount and a $400 amount. $1,200 amount for those that are getting training that's specific to them if they're teaching reading in their classroom. So an elementary teacher that's teaching reading in their classroom or an English language arts teacher that's teaching reading would get that $1,200 training, that reimbursement for that training, and then the $400 is being reimbursed to the district for the trainings for all other teachers that are not specifically teaching reading as their core content in their classroom. So first of all, I want to thank Amy and her team for just making sure all of the names and everything got onto the list, because that's a lot of members to make sure we got that right. Also, the timing of making sure we did this at the right time and not too early, not too late, so that we actually realize the full reimbursement from the state, because that's something that you don't often see where there's a mandated requirement and funding. I've not said that probably ever in my entire career, to be honest with you. I think it's probably a historic moment for that. So once we do appreciate that is being funded by the state. And then 3, just thanking our teachers for going through that. They're going to go through that process this year, and just grateful for their time and attention to this. It is something we're required to do. It also is something that will benefit, I think, all teachers and understand, because reading is a component of everything that we're doing. So it is something that is integrated in, and the science of reading is something that is backed by research. And so we're just making sure that we're honoring that process, and just grateful for our teachers. They've been doing great work all the way up to this point, and this is just adding to that and enriching hopefully their instructional experience as well. Section O in your personnel agenda is just adjustments for salary. So when our teachers, speaking of learning, continue the learning process and finish graduate work or advancing in their learning, we do make salary adjustments in the salary scale. So we want to congratulate those folks that are moving and making that adjustment, and thanking them for their continued education. Section P, as in Paul, we have supplementals in this section. The supplementals are given out for our folks that are doing coaching and other various items to help typically extend our school experience outside of the classroom for extracurricular activities that are happening beyond the classroom. And you'll see in here, there are some pieces of this that are deleting some of the positions that are no longer being filled, and then moving that funding to another position that is offered. So one example off the top of my head that I can remember in the list, I believe, is girls wrestling, I believe, is one of the coaching positions that's newer, and that we're allocating funds to make sure that we can offer that opportunity for our kids. So that is on in this section, in Section P. Section S is classified personnel. We're looking at some specific things there. You'll see just moving forward on just going through our books. If someone is not reporting, we just try to clean our books and make sure that we're doing that. So we're going through that process, and that will come up later in our personnel items as well as we move through to align our classified. And then I believe that's all of the sections I need to highlight. You'll see other things in there that are pretty typical. I think we have interpreters at the end that we're adding to our list, and some other coaching and assistant coaching positions. So, but pretty typical for this time of the year. I think I got everything in there, Tracy. Thanks for going through that as well.
Thank you, Jonathan. I do want to acknowledge this. We do a pretty good job of calling out the state from time to time when they put some unfunded mandates on us, and letting our public know our feelings on those and frustrations on those sometimes. So I think it's worth acknowledging the appreciation we have for the state actually being able to cash the check that it writes, and giving us the resources to train all of our teachers in that needed reading training. Sean, do you have a ballpark figure of how much?
Yeah,
how
it's
much
a little over
money that
$500,000.
is? Yeah, so that's not an insignificant amount of money that we are appreciative of not having to dip into our general fund for, and that's going to be a good investment in training, and will serve our comments well. And also want to acknowledge and appreciate the work done by our athletic council in putting these, supplemental modifications together for us to review and approve. And looking forward to seeing the great things that those extracurriculars accomplish, as always. So, any further discussion?
Not this time.
All right. Sean, please call the roll.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Gavin?
Yes.
3-0.
All right. I think we're on item 9. Superintendent's recommendations, action items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
All right, the action items that we have on tonight, the first one is item A, University of Cincinnati Agreement. This is the CEES program, which stands for the Collaboration for Employment and Education Synergy Program. It's actually something that our team here at Mason has written a grant with the Warren County Board of DD to provide opportunities for our students to go to the University of Cincinnati campus. We actually have 5 students this semester and 5 students next semester to have this experience to continue on and their education and learning. It actually helps them to get the credits they need to, it's an alternative way for them to get the credits they need to move towards graduation, which also is good for us as a whole as well, especially when you're looking at the report card and some of those different pieces, but ultimately great for our kids. And so we're grateful to have the partnership there to write that grant, to have that funded, as well as the program opportunity for our kids at UC. Item B on here is the Cincinnati Center for Autism Agreement. This is just an agreement for services for a few of our students that need additional services and opportunities, and so that agreement is attached into your digital notes when you, if you have questions or need to review that. Section C, Warren County ESC itinerant services. We do have services that are provided for oftentimes our preschool and giving services for kiddos that might not be here yet physically, but we're working with them in their homes to provide the services they need. I know when I had Miles at age 2 and 3, and he was getting ready for preschool with Down syndrome and speech and all the things that he needed to go along, we had services coming to our home. And so it's a great opportunity for us to begin to bridge and build those relationships with families as they start to come into our preschool, and build those trusted bridges as they come in, because they're just little at 3 years old. They're just so little. So we want to do that well. Warren County ESC, item D, the Warren County ESC also has an agreement here. Now this says Royalmont on it. Royalmont is one of the private schools in our area, and those go through our board agendas, but it's for a service that they are needing in their school, and specifically a person, I believe, to support services there. And so you'll see that agreement on here. And then item E is an employment agreement that we've discussed already with you. That's a personnel item, so we have that agreement on here as well.
Thank you, Jonathan. Any other discussion? Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Rio?
Item number 10, Treasurer's Report. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
So a couple things to highlight. Items A through D, those are just our monthly financial reports for the month of August. Item E up here, the certificate of estimated resources. That is the revenue side of the appropriation resolution that we looked at earlier. So again, the appropriation was the expense side. This is the revenue side. We'll do the same thing with this and submit it to the county auditor's office as part of our budgetary processes. Item F is our monthly donations. And item G is just kind of a note for an update, something going on unique in Warren County this year that we thought we'd take a minute and talk about before we do vote. But that item is actually referencing the 2024 property value reappraisal in Warren County. So across Ohio, every 6 years, every county auditor is tasked with the responsibility of going through and updating property values. So every 6 years, it's called a full reappraisal process. There's 3 years in between, and they do a triennial update. And that, again, is based on Ohio law. And so basically our county auditor has that task in 2024. So they've been going through that process here over the last few months. So Matt Nolan and his team have the unenviable task of going through and trying to update our property values around the county to reflect what's actually going on in the market. So it's not something obviously that they're driving. They're just trying to reflect and update what's happening in the market. So as we've all seen over the last couple of years, and maybe experienced either through our own sale of a home or purchase of a home, or we watch a neighbor sell a home, property values have really increased quite a bit. And so not surprisingly, we're anticipating a similar increase in the taxable values of homes. And so one of the things that's unique about property taxes, when you think about other forms of taxes, a sales tax or an income tax, you think, okay, well, if I'm going to have a 20% increase in income, then I'm probably going to expect, a 20% increase in my tax bill, maybe even more. If you get into a higher tax bracket, federal tax bracket, it might be more than a 20% increase. Property taxes are actually unique and a little bit different in that as values go up, the tax rates actually change. So again, unlike a sales tax or an income tax, those property taxes will change, and that's basically the result of something called House Bill 920 that was passed in the late 70s. And so as values go up, the tax rate actually goes down, and so tax rates are always changing. And so as part of that process, again, values going up, those tax rates are going to go down. So the values in the county are going up anywhere between 23 and 35%, depending on where you're at in the county. So based on what township or city area that you're in, again, 23 to 35%. And the reason really we're talking about it now is that in addition to the county going through this process over the last few months, the letters are actually going out to homeowners this week. So sometime this week, most homeowners in the county will see a letter saying, here's what your previous value was, here's what your new value was. And so just so people know what those new values are going to be. And so the next natural question is, if my home goes up 20% or 25% or 30%, how much is my tax bill going to go up? You can see we have a graphic up here that shows in the county, again, that 23 to 35% is resulting in most places are seeing increases of about 13 to 15% in their property tax bills. In Mason, in our school district, it's actually a little bit different. We're a little bit lower. We're going to be closer to 7 to 10%. The reason for the difference is that we are actually not on the 20 mil floor, so we could spend hours and hours talking through all this, but essentially those tax rates can go down. As values go up, tax rates can go down until you hit a floor, and so that minimum for schools is 20 mils. And so most districts in the county are on that 20 mil floor. Mason Schools is not, and so that actually allows our tax rate to continue dropping as we see values go up. So again, most homeowners in the county are going to see that 13 to 15% increase. Our homeowners will see a little bit less, 7 to 10%. So just to phrase that in terms of dollars, a $300,000 homeowner in our community, we would anticipate seeing some kind of increase of maybe $30 to $40 a month on their tax bill. In other parts of the county, that same home would see about an increase of about $65 to $75 per month. And so a lot lower increase. And again, we are only one piece of the pie when it comes to property taxes. We don't get all of that. And so just kind of an update for people. I know when the auditor sends out that letter this week, there's going to be a reference to a website on there. So there's actually, on the auditor's office, there's a calculator if anybody wants to go and calculate and see what their old values were and what their new values are, and try to come up with an estimate of what they're going to pay on their individual home. So that will be going out. Also, obviously, if anybody has questions or wants to walk through the school's property tax rate or calculations, I'd be more than happy to sit down and go through it with anybody. So we just thought it would be a good time to stop and talk about that, just because those letters are going out this week. So.
Sean, can you clarify something? So the average homeowner in the Mason School District, their taxes are not going to go up as high as other parts of the district or other parts of the county. Isn't it true that is in large part due to the fact that there isn't going to be more money coming to the schools? Can you explain
Correct.
that?
Yeah, thank you. So that House Bill 920 that I mentioned is that rollback or drop factor is in play for any voted levies. And so basically any voted levy that the school district has had for the last 45 years, the purpose of House Bill 920 is basically to say, as values go up, that levy that generated, if you're in your home, you paid $1,000 on that levy last year, you're going to pay $1,000 on it next year, no matter what happens to your home value. And so the only increase that we're seeing as a district is on something called inside millage, so it's not voted millage. But yes, you're correct that 7 to 10% is not reflective of what the school district is going to see. Our actual percentage increase will be a lot less on what the school will see. Again, unlike another district around the county or around the state that would be on the 20th floor, would be a totally different story.
Thank you.
I would just add that we are incredibly fortunate in Warren County to have Matt Nolan as our county auditor. If you are, getting your letter in the mail and you feel like it's a injustice, it is not hard to go to nearby counties and find people who would gladly trade places with the relative increase in home value and tax increase that we're experiencing here. And Matt is not only incredibly good at what he does in the auditor's office, he's a thought leader in that space. He is a resource that county auditors across the state seek out for guidance, and somebody who is very approachable and who is a great educator in this area as well. So anybody with questions, I would highly encourage you to visit the auditor's website to reach out to Matt as well. And he has a tough job kind of walking a tightrope between keeping constituents and keeping his residents happy with how he is appraising the property values, but at the same time appraising them in a way that's fair, in a way that in the long run benefits property owners in the county who eventually may want to sell or transfer their property, and also valuing them appropriately so that they generate the revenue from taxes necessary to support the infrastructure that we enjoy here in Warren County, from all the county services, all the school services, all the things like that. So we greatly appreciate Matt. He's a straight shooter and somebody that we lean on heavily here in Mason. So thank you, Sean.
Yeah, well said. We appreciate him so much. He's a great resource for homeowners. He's a great resource for government entities. He is happy to answer questions or get on a phone call. And like you mentioned, he's been a resource for other counties going through this in the last couple of years. I know Butler County and Hamilton County and Claremont County were going through this, and he was actually kind of helping coach them as they went through the process as well. So we're very, very fortunate to have Matt Nolan here in the county.
All right. Any further discussion? Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
3-0.
Item number 11, committee reports. Arts and Activities Council.
We approved a number of Science Olympiad trips, and we also looked at a new kind of draft trip proposal, just wanting to get a little more clarity around the supports that would be needed every time we have students go on an out-of-state trip or an overnight trip, considering all of the mental health supports that need to be in place, all of the housings, just felt like at this point in time it had probably been about really maybe 10 years since we've really looked at our application. And so we have taken a draft. Stephanie Jones, our performing arts chair, helped kind of take a first stab at it, and our teams are all looking at it and just getting some clarity, cost as well, just to really look at what are all of the things that we may not have even been considering on that application in the past that really would be a cost for families that needs to be included. We think we had a pretty good handle on the cost to the district, but what were maybe all the other things that just needed to be more explicit in that application, so that when we as Arts and Activities Council were approving it, but also for families when they're really looking at a trip, that would be up front and know.
Thank you, Tracy. Athletic Council.
Yeah, Athletic Council met, and we did just a quick review we had the 42nd Hall of Fame ceremony for all of our new Hall of Fame folks that came in. So congratulations to everyone that was added as new inductees. We also reviewed the annual Mason Cross Country Meet. I believe it was the 50th anniversary, and so that takes a lot of time and a lot of volunteers. I want to thank everybody for that. It was a huge success. It was beautiful weather. We had it Friday evening for our middle school and Saturday morning for our high school event, and that was also the evening that we had Friday night all of our folks for the where everyone comes together outside.
Tailgate?
Thank you. The tailgate. I was like, I just lost the name of that. The tailgate community event. So it was a great night on our campus. It was packed with people, and it was a beautiful evening for our football game and everything else going on. So I want to congratulate everyone there. We also talked about some of the trips that we are approving for folks to go, the top 20 runners that are competing, going to different invitationals that will continue to refine their ability to compete at the top level. So we're grateful for that. Talked a little bit around the room with Kurt Bly was also honored as Coach of the Year for the Cincinnati Reds gives out a Coach of the Year award. So we congratulated Kurt Bly and his team again on the winning of the state championship last year. We had a nice discussion around that. I think those are the major things. There are a few other facilities conversations that we have had, everything from just how are the fields holding up to weight room revisions since we put our weight room, I think, 2002 or whenever that was originally. So we're looking at updating that, and that process has gone through facilities and has come to our executive team for review as well.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks.
Diversity Council.
Well, you heard our team tonight talk a little bit about OKR-2A, the Dream Centers, meaningful experiences at DEI Council. We talked a little bit about OKR-2B, which was connected communities, and looking our 3B, connected communities, and looking at how we're supporting our multilingual families, and sort of like as in good, great instruction, we know that what's really good tier 1, good instruction is actually good for all kids, and that's the same with communication. And we sort of were exploring a tool, Talking Points, that the district is using for text messages, but has a really terrific capability with a lot of our, with translating documents into text for flyers, all sorts of interesting things that we can explore, but wanted to get our family's perspective on balancing that tool with also just the cadence and urgency that families would want to receive those kinds of communications, and the notices of what's the difference between getting something from a teacher versus the school versus the district. So really good conversation around that. And then we also did a little bit of planning around Hispanic heritage. So you got a little taste of our mirrors and windows that were in all of our dream centers from the books. We also, as a district, of course, really love having that Dr. Rudine Sims Bishop metaphor come to life as our events. And we are in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month, and we have our terrific Hispanic Heritage celebration. In fact, I'm going to shamelessly plug it right now. Coming up Thursday, October 10th, 2024 at Mason Intermediate School. We're going to have Cincinnati Bila performing again. If you didn't get to go last year and do interactive dancing with them, I encourage you to. We'll also have that same kind of formula, wonderful, not just consuming culture, but really supporting some of our local businesses, including Tortilleria Garcia, El Caparol, and we're also looking at CDMX, which is downtown Mason as well. And we have all kinds of stories we're going to be highlighting. Don't miss it. It's going to be fantastic.
Thank you, Tracy. Mason Schools Foundation.
Right up next. Now I feel bad because I did not make a flyer but I should have, for our 16th annual fundraiser, which is coming up. So this is the year that we don't do the gala, but what we do instead is our still the silent auction. And this year, what's going to be really special is that on October 25th, which is a Friday night football game, that's actually senior night. But ahead of that, we're going to be recognizing all of our Teacher of the Years, our Give Every Month GEM donors, and as well as the other donors who have made it onto our wall in their circles. We're really excited about that. We'll have an opportunity to come together, recognize those donors, and then also be celebrated at the football game on Friday. And everyone in the community is encouraged to check out our to check out that fundraiser. It's all kind of going. It's live now. It'll be pushed even more beginning October 1st. Lots of great experiences. We know those graduation packages at the high school level, the sweet spots are always big ticket items, but getting those experiences with your kids. And then this year, we have a really special Mason spring break time opportunity to go on a beach getaway at Seagrove, Florida. It's beautiful. Highly encourage that.
Thanks, Tracy. Safe and Inviting Schools Committee?
Yes. It's actually our team. We actually had two main topics. One, Dr. Cooper had challenged us to do was to do a SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunity, of our current safety programs. And through that, we found some really good targets that will continue us to provide direction as we move through the future. We have a very robust safety program. Also during that meeting, we talked about the first annual Safety Summit, which will take place on October 15th. And I have to thank so much. Tracy and Robin have done an outstanding job. Due to the fact I'm safety, I'm thankful because I'm going to look really good with the job they've done this night. And I just wanted to thank them because I am eager for not only the school district, but the community at large to see how the police and the school district together provide safety to our students, staff, and community.
Thank you, Todd. Student Achievement Committee.
Yeah, the district will be hosting our third annual Teaching and Learning Night this year, and we're moving it up from January, when it's been in previous years, to November, a bit earlier. Save the date for November 20th. More details will be coming. But we took the opportunity with our Student Achievement Committee just to hear from a community and parent perspective more about what makes that night valuable to them. We looked at some of the sessions that we have offered previously to understand what sort of most desired, what are other topics that they might like to see represented, or experiences. A theme that we had already been considering and sort of planning for example, was making sure, really working to have our students represented there so that families and even other students could hear the student perspective directly from them at that night. So it was great feedback that's going to help us to make sure that it continues to grow to be a valuable learning experience for our families. And thankful, it's been something that over the past 2 years and going into this year, we have our teachers there always to be able to share sort of that firsthand perspective with our families. We are very excited that we will be having the event in the Dream Center this year and using some of those classroom spaces as well in that hallway that extends from the Dream Center. We also had an opportunity to learn more about our learner-centered systems of support, which has been an effort involving educators from all of our buildings, a team of about 70, to really look at how can we ensure that our systems to make sure each and every Comet thrives and reaches their potential, that they're aligned, they're consistent, and they're collaborative from one grade level to another, from one school building to another. We have a lot of those great systems in place, but recognized, especially coming out of the pandemic, that we had opportunities to grow to make sure that we were really working smarter and not harder, that when a student transitioned grades or buildings, that we had common systems so that that next team of educators could really pick up and know just sort of what that learner needed. And whether that's sort of extra support to be on grade level or they're ready to be extended. And so we learn more about how we use data to make those decisions, as well as other systems to for teacher referrals as well. And then we got to see some of it in action. So we visited at Mason Elementary and Mason Intermediate, some of our reading intervention and support classrooms, gifted intervention classrooms, and ESL support rooms. And we're really just wowed by the amazing work our educators do to create community, to really lean into students' strengths in those classroom settings, and to make sure our students are getting what they need. And then we're able to also get some feedback from the committee about sort of what they noticed and saw, and how we can just continue the momentum of that work.
Thanks, Amy. Item number 12, legislative update.
Very quick update here, because there's a lot of activity that's not at the State House because of its election season and everybody's out there. But here's what we do have. New projections out for the OBM, which is Office Budget Management. They do the 2-year biennium projections for the governor, lieutenant governor, to tell them basically here's what it's looking like. And so that helps us to plan ahead. What the word out there, Sean can probably tell us more about it, but it's looking like they're at least forecasting there's not going to be maybe as much money, so that we're going to have to watch that closely to make sure the way they use the money is at least continuing to be true to their funding of schools. So we'll make sure that we stay tuned in as they start to put those budgets together, that we do not miss out on that, and we're at the table. Senate Bill 162 is just one we're watching closely. That is a specific about, you might have heard of REMPS before, which is reading improvement plans that we have in our district. That's something we're required to do. Senate Bill 162 is an idea that they're putting out there that we would have to be required to do MEMPs as well, which would be mathematic improvement plans. We actually have a lot of those kind of supports already in place at a local level. We don't necessarily need those legislated into place. So we are advocating just allow us to continue to do the work we're doing with our students. But that is something that we're watching closely. House Bill 68 has been brought up several times in our conversations over time, and that is just looking at it prohibits transgender girls from playing and participating with girls' sports. That is going to get tied up in the Ohio Supreme Court. So we'll watch that closely to see how that impacts us. We've navigated that well over several years, but obviously that's something that's out there in the state that's had a lot of press, and so we'll continue to watch that as that goes to get caught up in the Supreme Court a little bit here in Ohio. And then finally, Senate Bill 313 was just introduced by one of the senators in Columbus, specifically around requiring schools to have, and this is in response to school safety and specifically school shootings, but to have badges that have a button press on them. And so if they do move forward on that, I was actually on the phone with Representative Matthews for quite a while today, just talking through what's the conversation around that, and what kind of influence does this specific senator have in terms of moving things forward. It sounds like if this person's proposing it, there's a good chance something like that would move forward. That will require some funding behind it. Todd and I were with a group just today looking at a version of those that is kind of like a very comprehensive version of a safety tool that you could have as a tag. But again, there's a lot of cost involved in those, and they are safety, and safety is our number one priority, and we've put some major investments into safety here in our district, everything from the outside of our buildings to our police team and division with the city to prevention and wellness counselors. So we have a lot invested in that, and so we will definitely be at the table trying to figure out, making sure that this is possibly another funded mandate if they're going to move forward on that. But just want to put it on your radar because it will get a lot of attention soon. It's Senate Bill 313.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks.
Item number 14, board commentary. Matt?
Just give over. Do we do administrative?
Oh, I'm sorry. Forgot. That was legislative.
Yeah.
I had my brain was goofed because we just got done with the.
We heard from most people.
Yeah,
already.
yeah, we heard from so many
Other
people.
topics.
Maybe we can still do a roast tonight.
There we go. There we go. All right. Item number 13, administrator commentary.
I just want to thank Connie Yingling for your 25 years of service. About 19 years ago, I was lucky enough during my interview process, Dr. Bright had me sit down for also it might have been lunch, not just coffee. It was lunch, but lunch with you, Connie, and I was so impressed with the vision that the board had for what Mason was and could be, and you have epitomized that in your time here. It has been a blessing to have my own kids come through the school district knowing that you've been on this board serving with a mind that was absolutely about what was best for kids, but also what was best for kids and what would serve our community well. So many thanks for that. And then also it's homecoming. We all walked through the halls and see the spirit of, there's something exciting in a high school when it's homecoming. And Thursday is our parade. It may not be quite as big as Heritage Parade, which was also wonderful, but it is exciting. So come out on Thursday, and then the game on Friday will be great. I love seeing the spirit all through the halls, and the teachers, and I think even our teacher academy, who's working hard to decorate our teachers' doors. It's just really fantastic.
Thanks, Tracy.
Well, I will just echo the congratulations to Connie on 25 years of service, and thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you on our Student Achievement Committee for most of the years that I've been here in Mason, and I just really appreciate the great heart and care for people that you bring to your work. So thank you. Wanted to take a moment too just to celebrate in our second year of report cards from the state that have overall star ratings. Another report card for Mason City Schools with 5 stars, and lots to celebrate there. It certainly represents the really thoughtful work that our educators do every day, thinking about what are we teaching students and how are we knowing if they're getting it or not, and how are we adjusting, and doing that collaboratively with each other. Represents the great supports that our families offer at home, and of course the hard work of our students every day in our classrooms, in our hallways, in our dream centers, and all over our campuses. We know that it's not the only measure of all of the great work that happens in our buildings, but it is absolutely something to celebrate. And also an offer, if anybody ever wanted to talk more about the report card or had questions about it, that I would be more than happy to sit down and look at that with anyone at any time.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Connie, for your 25 years of service to Mason City Schools. It's been a pleasure and continues to be a pleasure to work with you. In addition to that, I just wanted to remind people, well, not remind people, just to note that October traditionally can be a challenging month in schools because the newness of a new school year has worn off, and we got a nice little stretch before there's a break. And so I just wanted to highlight that our prevention and wellness teams, as Jonathan mentioned earlier, have really done a nice job of supporting our staff and our students, but specifically helping staff to proactively have strategies for, being well, as also in addition to helping them through rough patches. And this year we were really excited to also add another layer of help to the buildings by providing staff wellness teams and even adding wellness dollars for them to be able to do things that their staff deem that would be supportive and helpful to them. So it's just a great resource to have, and so I just wanted to thank you again for allowing us to have a prevention and wellness team here at Mason City Schools.
Thanks, Tanya.
Yes, congratulations, Connie. You've always been so gracious and welcoming, always smiling and welcoming everybody that comes in, and I just appreciate all your service. I also want to just thank, number one, Mason Schools Foundation for the Dream Center, and David Jakes, the original kind of manifesto that we put together that was a vision for this, and it was about 2018, I think, 2018, 2019, when we did that work. And also Bobby Dodd. I know he's no longer with us, but he was certainly a catalyst he knew David Jakes, so he brought him in and really helped to get the staff involved, get the students involved, and to make sure that their voice was heard. So I want to thank him. Despite him not being here, he certainly had quite a vision for that space, along with many others, but I'd be remiss not to mention him. Todd, nothing short of a miracle that we were able to open, I would consider on time. And between he and VSWC, which our architects have always been clutch every single time, and incredible. Aaron, it's so wonderful to have the coordinator for the Dream Center spaces, because he's making sure that we have that trajectory as we go along, and Dan and Robin as well. And then Tracy and Robin for coordinating the event, another miracle. To be able to go from Mason Elementary to Mason Intermediate to MEC, just rapid fire was pretty incredible, because it was a great evening. So it was just, they're awesome spaces. The kids are going to reap dividends for many, many years to come, because I've not seen anything like it. And I think that people are going to come from near and far to be able to see our spaces, because they are benchmark flagship spaces.
Thanks, Christine.
I too would like to congratulate Connie. You know, if someone asked me, every board member has their role and their strength on a board. And for me, Connie is the one, not that everyone else isn't caring, but if someone asked me what is Connie's strength on a board, I would say she really cares about people. I know there's been times in my life, staff's life, and she'll just reach out and say, hey, I know that's happening, thank you for that, or we're thinking of you. In a day and time where, like Tanya talked about, the month of October is difficult, those people that really care go a long ways, because sometimes some people, especially in education, teachers will work all day long, or a superintendent, and never hear a thing, or never hear a thank you, I should say. It's more of, you did this could have been done better, this could have done better, but at the end of the day, everything they did was helping people, and they seldom get a thank you. So thank you for being that person. The Dream Centers, I appreciate the credit for that, but for me, what I really enjoyed about those, I consider those projects of purpose. And it's fun now to walk through and you just listen to what people say. But the cool thing about it is the people who are in those today, some like to have a quick judgment, some like to see long-term. They haven't even seen what those centers will produce. I suspect as the future moves forward in buildings, we will have lots of districts coming here looking at those because those will become the next gymnasium of every school that's built. They will be a critical piece for the future that we haven't had for a long time. So I know it was 10 years. Dr. Cooper worked with kids. The kids were there, but it was an absolute privilege to be able to see that through and just see these things working. That's the thing I like about Mason. People always ask, what's the difference with Mason of most places you've ever been? Progress. Mason is always, the city and the school is always moving forward. Even when we have debates, it's about progress, which is what I really respect most about working here in Mason.
Thanks, Todd.
There's a couple things. Also want to thank Connie for your 25 years of service. One of the things I really appreciate about you is your passion for the work, for the community, for the students, the staff, that people, 25 years in, I can't imagine that you have any less passion now than you did 25 years ago, and that's a real testament to your character. So thank you. Also, we've seen and heard from the Cosmic Cafe a couple times here in the last couple weeks, tonight, and then also at the ribbon cutting for the High School Dream Center here. Wanted to thank Mrs. Turner for her work. I know that this has been something that she's been working on for really a lot of people for years, but she's kind of been, on the front lines working with students and trying to get this off the ground. So thank you to her for all of her work in the background. And then one more thing, I know Kid Coffee here locally was a great resource in designing and developing that. The machines that went into the Cosmic Cafe there, and just bringing that local expertise there to help these students get it off the ground. So thanks to them as well.
Good point.
Thanks, Sean.
Well, if you were at the Heritage Day Parade, 95 degrees, thank you for it might have been 97, but thank you for everybody that made it out to that and enjoyed sweating together and smiling together and glistening, and it was one of those wonderful.
10 pounds lighter after sweat.
Yeah, it's a good workout for everybody, and I really want to thank our band, because our marching band, I was in contact with them all throughout the day, like, you sure you're okay? You're okay? Hey, we got it. And skippers. I mean, they're jumping the whole time, marching. So just thanks to everybody for
Well, I thought riding in that cart with Connie was pretty hot, didn't you?
You guys did a great job. You paced us out perfectly, so thank you. Yeah, report card, Dr. Brennan and team, and all the teachers, and just everyone that contributes to that. That's something to celebrate. We really are fortunate to be 5-star, and we don't take it for granted. We're just really hard on ourselves. So we're always looking for, okay, well, we can improve that. Well, there is not a 6-star, even though we're going to work on it. But thank you for all the work that you do to make that happen. Yeah, homecoming's this weekend. My word for homecoming is press pause and spend a minute talking to your kids. Okay, so if you have kids that age, I'm a dad of that age, just think about all the decisions kids will make and really encourage them. They know the right decisions, help them to do that, and as adults, let's guide them in the right direction, because it's a big night and it's a lot of fun, and we want to keep it that way for all of our kids, that they're safe and making great decisions together. That's all I'll say on that. Right, this is a little one thank you for. So GOPA is one of our parents in the community, and he invited my family to be a part of the Onam Heritage Harvest Festival with our Indian community from the southern part of India, and it was a delight. We got to see dancing. We ate all kinds of different curries that we have possibly never seen, and it was one of the most beautiful demonstrations of community, and so just thankful for them always thinking of us and involving us in their activities. So thank you to them. Quick quiz for everybody here. See if you can get these right. You ready? October 10th. What was Hispanic? That's right. Hispanic Heritage Celebration, October 10th. We threw a lot of dates out, so I just want to everyone that's still paying attention. October 10th, October 15th. Safety Summit. Todd mentioned that. We have a lot of work behind that. And here's one I would encourage parents to come to that have been in my coffee conversations. They want to know what are some things to learn about safety. Come to it and see, because they'll show you really practical things that kids are struggling with today, And that's a great, insightful thing for parents to be a part of. October 25th, Mason Schools Foundation is going to be celebrating at the game, so be at that. November 20th, Teaching and Learning Night. Again, if you're a parent and you want to know how to teach math, we talked about this earlier, come to that and ask, because there will be experts there to help all of us as parents know how do we help our kid. Now, AP Physics, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get there, but we have great support in place for that. So those are just some dates, and then obviously September 24th. That's Amy's birthday. So happy birthday, Amy, today.
35.
Oh,
Hey, happy birthday, Amy.
So we're happy about that. Happy birthday. All right, turn it over to you. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan. Item number 14, board commentary. Matt?
Yeah, real quick, just wanted to say this week, what a week to be in Comet Country. I mean, what a week to see the pride of what it means to be a Comet on full display. Starting on Monday night with our rapid fire ribbon cuttings at I think, what was it, ME, MI, and MECC to see the Dream Centers. There was a phenomenal set of activities and ribbon cuttings. What was really awesome is that there were so many people at every one of those ribbon cuttings, and people very excited to be there and to share the moment, but also to experience all that's offered at the Dream Center. So thank you to everybody to putting that together. The ribbon cutting, of course, on our flagship Dream Center the next night here at the high school. Another incredible turnout, and what a cool night celebrating so many people who contributed to the vision and the reality of the Dream Centers, starting off with Mindy Patton from the Mason Schools Foundation talking about the David Jakes grant that helped kind of ignite the work, and from student leaders past and present, just hearing about how their role in the journey and dream casting what the Dream Center might look like, straight on through to Emory and some leaders of the experiential learning program about how they're using the space today. It was just incredible. And then fast forward, as you mentioned, the very, very hot Heritage Festival Parade. There were a lot of people there, like a lot of people, more people than I ever would have imagined were there to celebrate what it means to be, live in Mason and to live and learn in Mason. And what's really cool is that the kind of the evolution of the Heritage Festival and the parade, I think, is to see different parts of our culture and our heritage reflected in the parade itself. It's just become a really cool celebration of the diversity of our community too. So just what a great event, and just really thrilled to be a part of it, if not thrilled for the heat that we made it through. And then just a call back too, I talked about all the seeds that were planted and kind of helped to grow the vision and the reality of the Dream Centers and the Mason Schools Foundation. We'll talk about this again. I think we have one more board meeting, but Tracy mentioned the 16th annual fundraiser. The people contributing in our community to the Mason Schools Foundation contributed very much in a very big way to the reality of the Dream Centers. And not just the Dream Centers themselves, but the ideas that are in the Dream Centers, whether it be, I can't think of what all grants might be represented there, but things that we did on a small scale that became reality to take students learning above and beyond and are still showing up in our Dream Centers. So please, please, please participate, give generously to the Mason Schools Foundation. Again, we'll talk next month, I'm sure. That's it.
Thank you, Matt. Connie?
I'm going to visit the Dream Center topic again. I remember when we got the first drawings from the architect on what these things would look like after you and your team spent hours explaining to them the concept and the things that we hoped would happen there. And we looked at these drawings and we thought, what's with nature? I mean, it's nature everywhere, and it's, do we really want plants on all of those things? And Jim, not sure where this idea came from, but okay. So we walked down the road together, all of us, all the parties. And I walked into that room, and those drawings leaped off the page in my mind into those rooms, and boy, did they look good. They really, really did. So I think that's a testament to, in Mason, we aren't afraid to step up, step out, try something different. And if we're not sure about it, we don't just shut it down. We listen to people. We work through it, and that's how we come up with some of the best things. And then I'll get back to the other hot topic of tonight. It's the people here. It's the people here that work together, support each other, teachers, supporting administrators, supporting communities. Everybody works together. The foundation, new committees, DEI committees, all of the things, all of the ideas that our students need to not only keep moving and keep up with the world, but to be leaders in this world. We teach them, I think you all, educators here, teach our kids how to examine life and make great decisions about setting their goals and going after them. And that's what I'm the most thankful for here. That's why I do this job as long as I have. Yeah.
Thank you, Connie. I know that Ian Orr and Desiree Batchy would also echo the sentiments of Matt and I and the rest of our team in congratulating you and in thanking you for your service over the last 25 years. I know that it is gut-wrenching for them to miss any board meeting, especially one as celebratory as tonight, but they have other conflicts that were unavoidable, and so they are in our thoughts tonight, and I'm sure they're watching and following along at home, and they will just have to wait patiently to get their hands on some of these awesome tchotchkes that I get to play with throughout the meeting and decorate my office with once I take them home. I am just excited for the first month of the year to be under our belts. I'm looking forward to seeing as we enter into October, kind of the back half of the fall sports season. I know we've got boys soccer playing over at Lakota East tonight. They are on a great start to the year. I think they're undefeated with just a couple of ties to start the year off, and they won a couple big games this week against Lakota West and St. X, who I think they beat for the first time in several years. So very, very encouraging start by them, as well as all of our other fall sports as well. And looking forward to the homecoming week and game that we've got this week. And appreciative of everybody that showed up and sweated out in the Heritage Festival parade. I was reluctantly unable to join. I was traveling back from a work conference, but was with you all in spirit, with the air conditioning on in my car, driving up I-75.
Missed a blazing hot time.
I did. I obeyed the speed limit just a little bit better than I usually do to have a plausible deniability for that one, but it was awesome to see everybody at the ribbon cuttings last week, especially on the first night, and going from building to building, and seeing little caravans of families follow us from ME to MI to MECC, and seeing it. It's kind of funny when you see a family and you connect them with one kid in particular, and it's like, okay, they're with this building, this age, but then you go to another building and it's like, oh yeah, they've got siblings and they've got a couple in each building there, and then seeing the whole community out at the high school ribbon cutting, and just the buzz going on around there, and not just our community, but folks from other districts, superintendents from other districts, educators from other districts, kind of being able to kind of come and see and take back to their districts what's going on here. It was a really cool celebration last week. So no other comments from me. With that, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.